The doctor's deception. Your daughter is gone. I'm so sorry for your loss. Maya Chen couldn't breathe. The words echoed in her skull like shattered glass. Dr. Lee stood there with that practiced sympathy, that hollow condolence she'd probably given 100 times. But Maya had heard something. A cry, brief, piercing, unmistakable. 3 seconds of her baby's voice before the nurses whisked her away. I need to see her. Ms. Chen, perhaps it's better if... Now, I want to see my baby now. They brought her a small, wrapped form. Maya cradled her daughter, skin already cooling, features so delicate and still. She wept until her body had no tears left to give. They took the baby away. Dr. Lee handed her discharge papers, medication for recovery, empty words about healing and time. 48 hours later, Maya walked out of Seoul General Hospital with empty arms and a shattered heart. Her partner, Minyi, caught her when her knees buckled in the parking lot. Steady, kind Minyi who worked in logistics and never discussed the details. He'd been just as excited about becoming a father. They'd painted the nursery together, assembled the crib, folded tiny clothes with trembling hands. Now all of it sat untouched, a shrine to what they'd lost. We can try again someday, he murmured against her hair, when you're healed. But Maya didn't want another child. She wanted Rose, the daughter she'd carried, the girl who'd kicked and hiccuped inside her for 9 months, the baby who was supposed to be theirs. 90 days crawled by in a haze of grief counseling and unanswered prayers. Then everything shattered and reformed in a single moment at the market. The cry cut through Maya like lightning. That specific pitch, that particular rhythm, the exact sound she'd heard in the delivery room for 3 impossible seconds. She spun around, heart hammering. Dr. Lee stood by the fruit stands, a baby nestled in her arms. A baby girl with Maya's thick black hair, her warm olive complexion. And there, on the infant's tiny ankle as she kicked, a distinctive port wine birthmark in the shape of a butterfly. The same mark Maya bore on her own ankle. The same one she'd specifically asked the nurses to document. Her daughter was breathing, living, stolen. Maya's hands trembled as she fumbled for her phone, capturing photos from behind a display of melons. Dr. Lee cooed at the baby, completely oblivious to being observed. She wore designer labels, drove a Mercedes, held the infant with the comfortable confidence of months of practice. 3 months, exactly 90 days since Maya's world had ended. She followed at a distance, watched the doctor drive to an upscale apartment in Gangnam, saw her carry Rose inside as if she had every right. That evening, Maya showed Minyi everything. The photos, the birthmark, the timeline that aligned too perfectly. He studied each image in absolute silence, his expression transforming into something she'd never witnessed before. When she finished, he made one phone call. Young, I need a complete background on Dr. Lee Sun-hee at Seoul General. Finances, connections, vulnerabilities, everything. I need it within 3 hours. He ended the call and looked at Maya with eyes that belonged to a stranger. Cold, lethal, nothing like the gentle man who made her breakfast. Minyi, who is that? Who are you calling? My full name is Park Minyi. My family oversees significant underground networks throughout Seoul. He took her hands carefully. I never told you because I wanted you to love the real me, not the reputation or the resources. His grip tightened. But if that doctor took our daughter, I will burn through every connection I have to bring her home. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maya should have recoiled, should have demanded explanations about underground networks and family operations. Instead, she whispered, bring our baby home. I will, I swear it. 3 hours later, Young arrived with a thick folder. Dr. Lee was hemorrhaging money, gambling debts, failed investments, a lifestyle sustained by theft. She'd been stealing infants from marginalized mothers and selling them to desperate, wealthy couples. Rose was different because Dr. Lee had kept her instead of completing a sale. How many others? Maya's voice cracked. How many Bobbies has she stolen? 9 over 3 years. Young's expression was granite. Single mothers, immigrants, women without support systems. She selected you because you were unmarried, had no family in Korea, appeared isolated. She underestimated your situation. She had no idea who Maya's partner was, Minyi said quietly. Her fatal mistake. Now we correct it. We can't just take Rose back, Minyi said, packing his penthouse. If we do, Dr. Lee reports a kidnapping. We need irrefutable evidence, documentation that stands in court. So what's the plan? Maya asked. We make her confess, on camera. Then we present everything to authorities who can't ignore it. He turned to Tae-young. Can you access her apartment? Tae-young grinned. Boss, I could get you into the National Assembly if you wanted. Her security is laughable. The strategy was elegant. Minyi would pose as a wealthy client seeking a private adoption. Dr. Lee, desperate for cash, would present Rose. Maya would be concealed nearby with recording equipment. Once they captured her confession, they'd act. 4 days later, everything converged. Minyi sat in Dr. Lee's pristine living room, playing his role flawlessly. The doctor smiled with greedy anticipation, convinced she'd found another payday. I have an exceptional infant available. 3 months old, healthy, absolutely perfect. She brought out Rose. Maya, hidden behind a two-way mirror Tae-young had installed overnight, nearly collapsed seeing her daughter in that woman's grasp. Your price? Minyi asked coldly. For someone like you, 250 million won. Dr. Lee's smile widened. The birth mother died. Complications, very unfortunate. All the documentation is legitimate. She's legally mine to place. The lie flowed so smoothly, so practiced. You're lying, Minyi said, his voice dropping to something dangerous. This child was stolen 3 months ago. You declared her deceased and kept her. Her name is Rose Chen Park. Dr. Lee's face drained of color. I have no idea what you're... The door opened. Maya stepped into the room, tears streaming freely. That's my daughter. Give her back. Security, Dr. Lee shrieked, but no one responded. Minyi had already handled her security personnel. It's finished, Dr. Lee. Everything is recorded. Your lies, your admission, all of it. Minyi stood, towering. You have one opportunity. Give Rose to her mother, and I'll ensure you serve 20 years instead of life. Maya didn't wait for permission. She crossed the space and lifted her daughter from Dr. Lee's shaking arms. Rose looked up with those perfect dark eyes, curious and calm. For 90 days, Maya had mourned. Now she held warm. Living proof that mothers know. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, my precious Rose. Maya's tears fell onto her daughter's cheeks. Mama's here now. Mama's got you. Rose grabbed Maya's finger and smiled. Just smiled, as if she recognized her. As if she'd been waiting too. I didn't want to sell her. Dr. Lee collapsed onto her sofa. She was so beautiful. I thought I could give her a better life than her real mother could provide. You told me my baby was dead, Maya said, voice wrapped in silk and steel. Do you comprehend what that did? I wanted to die. Couldn't function. Couldn't breathe. I grieved over an empty casket because of your lies. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't return 3 months. 3 months of her life I'll never witness. Maya held Rose tighter. Minyi, call the police. But Minyi was already on his phone. Not with police, with his attorney. I need a legal team at this location immediately. Bring custody documentation, criminal evidence packets, and Judge Kang. Tell him Park Minyi is calling in that favor. Within an hour, Dr. Lee's apartment filled with lawyers, police officers, and a judge who'd known Minyi's family for 30 years. Dr. Lee confessed everything officially. The stolen children, the forged papers, the families she'd destroyed. Police discovered evidence of 8 other stolen infants. Families would be reunited because of what Maya had trusted. Ms. Chen, given these circumstances and Mr. Park's testimony, I'm granting immediate legal custody of your biological daughter, Judge Kang declared, signing papers with authority. Dr. Lee will face charges of kidnapping, fraud, and child trafficking. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. Dr. Lee was led away in handcuffs, still weeping. Maya felt no sympathy, not even slightly. She's mine. Legally, officially mine, Maya looked at Minyi, this man she'd thought she understood. You made this happen. You saved her. We saved her, together. That night, after Rose slept peacefully in the nursery they'd prepared 3 months earlier, Maya finally asked what she'd been avoiding. "What exactly do you do, Minyi? And don't say logistics." He poured wine, took a deliberate breath. "My family controls one of Seoul's 3 major organizations. We manage operations, security, negotiations that exist outside legal frameworks. I inherited this when my father stepped back." He met her gaze directly. "I'm what society would label a gangster. A criminal. The kind of man your mother probably warned you about." "Are you violent?" "When necessary, to protect my people, to protect what's mine." He touched her face gently. "But I've never harmed anyone who didn't deserve it. I have principles, boundaries I won't cross. Like harming children, I'd die first. Children are sacred, which is why what Dr. Lee did," his jaw clenched. "If you'd asked me to make her disappear instead of involving police, I would have done it gladly." Maya should have been terrified, should have grabbed Rose and fled. Instead, she thought about how quickly Minyi had mobilized resources, how he'd used his power to heal, not harm, how he'd promised to bring Rose home, and he had. "I don't care about your business," Maya said quietly. "You saved our daughter. You believed me when I said she was alive. You didn't dismiss me as grief-stricken or irrational. You just acted. Because I love you, both of you." Minyi pulled her close. "And I know we haven't discussed this, but Maya, I want to marry you. Officially make Rose mine, make you mine, build the family we almost lost." "You're proposing right now." "Too soon." He actually looked uncertain. This powerful man who'd orchestrated a rescue operation was nervous about proposing. "Ask me properly and see what happens." He dropped to one knee right there in the nursery, producing a ring he'd apparently been carrying for weeks. "Maya Chen, will you marry me? Let me be Rose's father and your husband. Build this complicated life with me." Maya said yes. Obviously, she said yes. 8 weeks later, they married in a private ceremony. Intimate, stunning, perfect. Rose was the flower girl at 5 months old, carried down the aisle by T. Young, who'd become her devoted uncle. Minyi's family was formidable. His mother was elegant and intimidating. His father, retired but still commanding. They'd been skeptical initially, an American woman with no connections, a baby from complicated circumstances. But when they saw how Minyi looked at her, how Rose lit up in his arms, they relented. "You make my son human," his mother told Maya at the reception. "He was cold before you, all business, no warmth. Now he leaves meetings early for bedtime stories. You did that, you and Rose both." She squeezed Maya's hand. "Welcome to the family. We protect our own, always." The honeymoon was postponed because Rose was too young for extended travel. But Minyi rented a private villa on Jeju Island. 3 days of ocean air, family time, and learning to be married to a man whose phone never stopped ringing. "I'm transitioning out of active management," Minyi explained one evening as they watched the sunset. "T. Young can handle operations. I want to focus on legitimate enterprises, on being a father on this." He gestured at Rose playing in the sand, at Maya beside him, at the life they'd constructed. "You'd really abandon all that power." "I'd abandon everything for you too. You're my power now, my purpose." He kissed her softly. "I spent 30 years being Park Minyi, the boss everyone feared. Now I just want to be Minyi, Rose's dad and your husband." "What if your world won't release you?" "Then I'll force it too. I'm finished with violence and secrets. I want ordinary, peaceful, safe." He lifted Rose, who squealed with delight. "I want this every single day for the rest of my life." Maya believed him, saw the man he was becoming, and she fell in love with him all over again. Life became beautifully mundane. Minyi worked from home most days, managing his transition while being completely obsessed with Rose. He changed diapers, handled midnight feedings, had thousands of baby photos. "You're worse than a first-time mom," Maya teased, watching him take his 100th photo of Rose napping. "She's perfect. I need to document her perfection." He was completely serious. Maya had launched an online boutique, handmade children's clothing that became surprisingly popular. She worked from home, built her passion while being present for her daughter. The life she'd thought had ended when Dr. Lee lied had become better than she'd imagined. Dr. Lee was sentenced to 35 years. No parole possibility. The other 8 stolen infants were reunited with their families. The case exploded nationally. Doctor's trafficking ring exposed by organized crime boss's partner. Maya became unintentionally famous, doing interviews about maternal instinct and perseverance. "How did you know your baby was alive?" reporters asked. "A mother always knows. Something in my soul refused to accept she was dead." And I was right. Other mothers reached out. Women with similar stories, Bobbies declared deceased but bodies never recovered. Maya helped where possible, using Minyi's resources to investigate. They found 4 more stolen children, reunited 4 more families. "You're a hero," Minyi told her one night. "I'm just a mom who got fortunate. Fortunate I had you. Fortunate I trusted my instincts. Fortunate I didn't surrender." "Not fortune, love. You loved her so fiercely you refused to accept her death. That's not luck, sweetheart. That's a mother's superpower." Rose started crawling, then babbling. Her first word was mama, and Maya wept. Her second word was dada, and Minyi recorded it 18 times to show everyone. They were happy, genuinely, completely happy. But happiness has costs in Minyi's world. The call came at 3 in the morning. Minyi's former associate, a man named Sung-ho who'd wanted Minyi to remain in the organization, had been arrested. He was threatening to expose Minyi's entire operation unless he intervened. "I'm retired. I told you that," Minyi said icily into the phone. "Retired men don't keep secrets. Help me or I'll make sure your wife learns everything. Every deal, every death, every dirty transaction you've ever touched. Think she'll still love you then?" The line went dead. Minyi sat in darkness, head in his hands. Maya found him there an hour later. "What's wrong?" "Sung-ho is going to tell you things about my past. Things I've done to protect my territory, my family, my position." His voice shook. "I've tried to be better, but I can't erase who I was." "Then tell me yourself. Right now. All of it." Maya sat beside him. "I'd rather hear it from you than from someone trying to hurt us." So he told her every ugly truth. The violence he'd ordered, the people who'd vanished on his command, the money he'd made from illegal operations. The man he'd been before Rose, before her, cold, ruthless, feared. Maya listened to all of it. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "Are you still that man?" she finally asked. "No, God no. I barely recognize him anymore." "Do you plan to return to that life?" "Never. I meant what I said. I'm done." "Then I don't care about who you were. I care about who you are now, who you're choosing to be." She took his hand. "We all have pasts, Minyi. Mine just doesn't involve organized crime. But if you're walking away from that world, if you're choosing our family over that power, then your past is just that, past. You're not leaving." "Where would I go? You're my husband, Rose's father, my partner." She kissed him softly. "I knew who you were when I married you. Maybe not the specifics, but I knew you were dangerous. And I chose you anyway." "What about Sung-ho?" "Let him talk. Let him expose whatever he wants. We'll handle it together." But Sung-ho never got the opportunity. Minyi's father, retired but still powerful, visited Sung-ho in detention. Whatever transpired, Sung-ho withdrew his threats, accepted his sentence quietly, never mentioned Minyi's name again. "What did you do?" Minyi asked his father. "Reminded him that retirement doesn't mean powerless, that my son is protected. That family is everything." The old man smiled. "Now go home to your wife and daughter. Live the life I never could. Be better than I was." Rose turned one with a celebration that was somehow both intimate and extravagant. Minyi had invited everyone, their small circle, his family, Maya's mother who'd flown from America, even T. Young and his new girlfriend. Maya watched her daughter smash cake into her face, watched Minyi laugh and take 1,000 photos, watched this beautiful life they'd built from ashes. "I can't believe it's been a year since." Maya couldn't finish. "A year since we got her back," Minyi corrected. "Since we became a family. Since everything changed." That night, after Rose was asleep and guests had departed, they stood in the nursery watching her breathe. This miracle baby who'd survived being stolen. This daughter who'd brought them together and changed everything. "I'm pregnant," Maya whispered. Minyi froze. "What?" 10 weeks. I found out yesterday. Wanted to wait until after Rose's birthday to tell you." She turned to him. "We're having another baby." His eyes filled with tears. This powerful man who'd commanded criminal empires cried at the thought of another child. Another baby. Another chance to get it right from the beginning. "Are you happy?" "I'm terrified. What if something goes wrong? What if?" "Then we handle it together, like we've handled everything else." Maya took his hands. "Dr. Lee is in prison. We have a new doctor, a good one. And this time I'm not alone. I have you. You'll always have me, both of you, all three of you now." He placed his hand on her still flat stomach. "I promise." They stood there watching Rose sleep, thinking about the baby to come. A family built from tragedy, strengthened by love, protected by a man who'd walked away from darkness to hold the light. "Thank you," Minnie whispered. "For what?" "For trusting your instincts, for not giving up on Rose, for giving me a reason to be better, for this life." He kissed her softly. "For choosing me even knowing what I am." "What you were," Maya corrected. "Now you're just Minyi. Rose's dad, my husband, soon to be father of 2. That's all that matters." And it was. The past, his violence, her grief, the doctor who tried to steal their daughter was behind them. Ahead was just life. Beautiful, ordinary, slightly chaotic life with bobbies and bedtime stories and a love that had survived the worst. Dr. Lee had tried to destroy them. Instead, she'd given them proof that some bonds can't be broken, that a mother's instinct is never wrong, that love, real, fierce, unconditional love, always wins. "Rose is going to be a big sister," Minyi whispered, still in awe. "And you're going to be outnumbered," Maya teased. "Best fate I could ask for." They left the nursery hand in hand, ready for whatever came next. Because together, him, her, Rose, and the baby to come, they could survive anything. Even stolen children and mafia pasts, even the impossible, even the beautiful chaos of happily ever after. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories every week. Drop a comment below telling us what you thought about Maya's journey and what you would have done in her situation. And remember, the moral lesson of this story is that a mother's instinct is powerful. Never doubt it. Trust your gut when something feels wrong. And true love isn't about perfect people. It's about imperfect people choosing to be better for each other. See you in the next story.